Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Leadership Squad. I'm Raunak Harait.
And I'm Mandar Kodegaonkar.
Together, we are exploring the essentials of leadership. We kicked off this series last week by recognizing the leadership traits with each one of us, and we want to sincerely thank you for the amazing response to our first episode. The feedback really meant a lot for us. Today, we are going to continue that journey by talking about one of the most important foundations of leadership, which is vision and how to set that vision. Mandar, this feels like a huge topic for a 15-20 minute podcast, doesn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. It is a massive topic, and I think it's one of the core aspects of leadership which people have studied so immensely. And there are some really good examples out there that people have observed and looked into. But our idea is not to give just pure theory about it. We are trying to explain in a way that people can use it, implement that in their daily life, and see how it responds. And we are trying to give them the tools to a look at vision as something that can improve their leadership skills, and b that can improve their overall life experience so that they can visualize the futures better and try to get their achievements, achieve their goals as they need it.
Absolutely. Let's start at the foundation, Mandar. Vision. Any leader, any charismatic leader, always has been seen as visionary. Like you see the Steve Jobs of the world, you see the Bill Gates of the world, you see the great leaders. They are creating a vision, they are creating a picture that is attractive to people, and people want to go towards that. Your perspective is a vision for a leader, and why? Why is it so important?
Exactly. This is you gave some really interesting names there, and these leaders, the names that you gave, like such as Steve Jobs, he's called as the visionary that all engineers look at him as somebody who can communicate what we think as a problem and actually convert that into actual statements, which is such a rare thing. Now, going back to the vision angle of this, vision is right at the core of everything that we do pretty much. It essentially tells us why we do certain thing. Now, as a leader, it tells us why we lead a certain situation or a certain effort or group of team. Why do we exist? What are we here for, and what are we trying to achieve at the end of it, or at least in a broader sense of time. So that's why vision is key. It essentially tells you why do you get up in the morning and why do you want to actually make any significant effort. And it could be anything from your corporate life to your personal life, whatever you do. There's always like a thought in your mind that keeps pushing you forward that, okay, I have to achieve this. I have to get to this utopia where I have good health, good work life. I'm able to spend time with my family. All these parts, although they are very cliche and everybody wants them, I want to be rich, but there are these visions behind them that are basically pushing these people forward. So, and there are different ways where people end up at certain vision. If you want to look at where you're getting up to now, a simplest way is to solve a certain problem. Let's say my health is bad, so I'm trying to make it better. As simple as that. So that's like a problem based approach where you're trying to find a solution of a massive problem. And again, vision is very holistic in nature. It's trying to encompass as much as beneficiaries as possible. And we'll get into that detail in subsequent conversation. But to give you an example and to give our listeners an example about what a problem based solution is, you think about like United Healthcare, which is a massive organization, and it focuses on making healthcare more affordable. It seems like a very simpler thing to do, but there are so many things you can do to get there, and that's solving a problem because healthcare is obviously expensive. You want to make sure that people are taken care of and without a massive hole in their pocket. So healthcare should be like a primary focus as per United Healthcare, and everybody should get the care they expect. And a different side of this, let's say sometimes it's not always problem focused. You are trying to create opportunities for yourself. Like, for example, like on a personal level, I'll give you this example, like that I was thinking. So I learned German as a language, and I didn't know why I was learning. I was just learning for the fun of it because I realized that there's a language I wanted to learn. I picked German just by chance, no real reason there. But then the idea was to explore the language and, the people who speak that language further and getting to feel like what kind of life they live. So it's more like an exploratory piece. And then that's something that you see in some really breakthrough companies, for example, are doing it. Like, for example, Apple. Their vision is to empower humanity through technology. And we see that every day in, day out, they are doing a pretty good job there by giving some tools that are not easily available, and they've been very innovative in their approach on how to get to those tools. So that's the whole mix of vision. So visions, what we are talking about here is the origins of visions, like where they come from, how are they categorized in a sense.
Yeah, that's a great distinction, Mandar. For me, vision is kind of the big picture, right? The reason why we want to do what we are doing. And if that is not clear for the team and not made clear, not given the clarity of purpose by the leader, you end up having a team rowing in different directions. I tend to use this analogy quite a bit. Like vision will give you the direction to row in. The
Yes.
team members may or may not agree about that, but at least you have a single direction to go in. The leader should be open enough to changing that thought process as you move forward. But vision gives you the overall purpose of moving forward. There's also it's a very common challenge that shows in every organization, right? You have multiple teams, multiple leaders who are looking at the same problem differently, but with one single shared mission. All their thought process and all their problem solving is aligned towards a greater purpose. And that purpose can be more altruistic as well. It's not just about making money. The examples you gave, of course, both those companies are highly successful multi-billion dollar companies, but their purpose or vision is not related to money. It's making people's lives easier by doing something which is above of the dollar amount. So great leaders, create this vision and paint this beautiful picture that we help us get out of bed in the morning. Gives us direction and also gives us the purpose to drive and do the work we do.
Absolutely. This is really true. And I think where leaders come into play, what they are trying to do is they take a high level view, but they also understand where the team is focusing on or what strengths
Hmm.
they have. They
Hmm.
combine that strength and the intents of different people, try to create a common theme on which everybody can float. So it's like making that ship, as you said, like rowing in the direction. He's the one who understands that ship. He understands that where somebody sits and what they are going to
Hmm.
do when I tell them point into this direction. And you can, I mean, like, we have observed during our own respective work life that you have to give different kind of inputs to different people,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
you have to stick to a common base, and you can actually have their contributions combined only if you know where you want to take them, which like taking your point further, so you're essentially pointing them at a north star ultimately, that guys, this is what we
Hmm.
are doing. And as a leader, you have to obviously orient your team into the right direction all the time, because you will find very smart people around you. And I've been fortunate to have some really smart people in my teams working in the past and even now. And it's always the case where they are extremely excited. They are extremely innovative, but you have to make sure that they keep doing the things that actually convert into a bigger vision and like a bigger impact ultimately, right? So
Yeah.
that becomes their north star. And what this does is, if you keep telling your team, like, guys, this is what we are going to do, and this is why we are going to do it, when the why is clearer in a bigger form, not about tomorrow, not about like a week or a quarter or annual,
Absolutely.
giving people a sales target or a revenue target is important. Like, there's nobody denying that. But then a bigger sense of purpose is absolutely important, because tomorrow the customers who are with you might drop and for whatever reason, but you need to know what you're focused on. You're trying to make your life, people's life easier in some form. So you have to keep focused in that way, that this is where my strength is, this is what my team is all about, and I'm going to keep honing in that direction until I get to that, keep going towards that vision. So no matter if the stock markets fall, there's a recession, whatever happens, your focus always remains in that direction. And that's why vision becomes absolutely key in terms of getting up every day and honing into it. So it gives you patience, it gives you a sense of calm that okay, what
Hmm.
I'm doing is still right, because I'm looking at the longer period.
Yeah.
And some people who are not following vision might be successful for a brief period of time, but on the longer run, you will always win, because you're always, every day you do put your effort together is towards the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. Now that we've kind of established the fact that why a vision is important, the next big question is how do you actually create a vision? It's easier said than done, of course, because you're trying to create this vision of being somewhere, and you have to be very clear in that vision. Both of us work in the renewable energy industry. We feel the privilege of or the honor of being in this industry, and our vision is pretty simple. I think for both of us, if we can make the planet greener and make it sustainable for future generations, that's the why of why we are doing this. When I see my kids every day, it reminds me, our work matters. We are trying to make small contributions. It's small, I understand, I agree, but it's meaningful and it's tied to a purpose. And that makes me go to work every day and, give what I can give to the industry. It becomes very attached to my purpose of my being. I think you would agree with that as well, Mandar.
Yeah, no, that's it's powerful. And that's something that again like keeps pushing you every day, adding these small bits. When you're in meetings, you're trying to make sure that people are moving towards that direction of making the planet more greener. We are thinking about more opportunities. You're more inspired or motivated to actually do things that makes things more affordable for people around you. As an electricity, for example, we work mostly on electricity, and also
Hmm.
at the same time making it greener using the means that are probably most sustainable for the globe. So yes, absolutely, it's and I think you said it right. I think both of us definitely share that vision. It does give us some real insight on how our daily work actually impacts people around us,
Hmm.
people close to us, and even people around us in general. So absolutely, I think when you sit down to create a vision for your team, which is like it's a extremely deep and humbling process where you need to really accept and understand what is around you and what is within you. It also challenges your values and principles, like what kind of stuff
Hmm.
you that makes you really move in the positive direction, like what kind of people around you feel are most impactful. Are those kinder people? Are they more happier? Are they more like bubbly people who like share love everywhere? Or they are more calm, peaceful, but they're kind in their own way? Everybody has their own approach about life, and that's what it all comes out when you start constructing vision. Of course, from a corporate standpoint, this can get a little complicated, but again, you can think about as a company, you could put that in a corporate context and see, visualize the same thing. Like you are in a company, all your colleagues are looking at you, you've done something really amazing, and what is that amazing thing you are taking your company towards? That's what the vision is. Start there and then start building your vision. Then you start democratizing this thought process with your team. Like try to understand what do they feel about that particular vision or that achievement. Look at their feedback, because everybody comes with their values and principles, and you need a team to support you. So
Yeah.
you have to be appreciative of the fact that we are going to do this together. So let's vote on what we feel is the right thing to do also. So you sort of modify your vision so that it sticks with everybody else, and that's where you start. And that's how I think one can create vision. There are multiple ways to create visions and multiple ways to get to the conclusion, but that's one I could think of.
Yeah, good point there, Mandar. Like once you create your vision, you kind of also talked about taking feedback from your colleagues and teammates. I think it's important to do that and to understand whether it's working or not. In the initial phases, you might have a couple of tries to kind of lay down the vision and paint that picture that we keep talking about. But once you have a vision that you've gotten feedback from your team members, the core vision stays the same. The core vision does not change. What drives you, what purpose you have as the leader after taking feedback as well, the core vision should remain the same. The leader has to believe and consistently reinforce it, right?
Yeah,
What
absolutely.
does not change is the vision, but what does change is the mission
Hmm.
or the way you execute it or you execute which brings us to kind of the next topic about mission and vision. Right? So what's the difference?
Yeah,
Let's talk
that's
about that a little bit more. Yeah.
yeah, no, that's interesting and important aspect, because so this is where your intent and actions are separated. Where
Mm.
mission is where you are talking about the verb form of what you're going to do for the vision. So as an engineer, we are trying to optimize something always. You're trying to
Mhm.
develop something incrementally, or sometimes there are breakthroughs. Sometimes the new product comes in and you're like, okay, let's do this. Or sometimes you create a product that becomes the breakthrough, right? So there are some actions you need to take, like when you so and that's where you need to, as a leader of a team, you need to sit with your team and define that as an action. That could be an optimization process, cross functional understanding of so sometimes you will work with some commercial team like finance or sales, or like to make your products work better and get your message through to the customers, so on and so forth. So all these efforts need to be covered together by that mission, where you are saying that, okay, I'm going to do xxx, and I'm going to do this by maybe involving somebody, or
Right.
maybe just doing by working on this, or like focusing on certain aspects of things. So it's more about action oriented piece, where vision is, and it obviously has to take towards vision in that sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Like vision is the destination, but mission is the path that will
Absolutely.
get you there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The mission statement will give you and your team the momentum and clarity on how to reach the vision that you have laid down for yourselves.
Mhm.
Interestingly, Mandar isn't limited to corporate leadership. Vision and mission are just as powerful for personal life. One of my mentors, Ken Alsher, shout out to you, Ken. He introduced me to the idea of a personal mission statement. I never thought of it that way before. I always thought mission and vision statements are for corporate leaders, but a personal mission statement is something that really has helped me in the past couple of years, where I was trying to have a soul search about what I want to do. And that personal mission statement was a kind of a simple question of what would you want people to say on your 75th birthday, kind of going back to what you were saying earlier. And when I searched that, I kind of came up with a mission statement saying I would like to be a pioneer in the solar energy industry who's helped inspire many people by solving problems and building teams without compromising on honesty, integrity, and righteousness,
Mm.
along with being the best version of husband, father, and leader that I can be, and by making the life of my near and dear ones emotionally, mentally, and financially better. So it really gave me a lot of perspective on how I think I should be thinking about a mission statement of my life.
Mhm.
And it's a very powerful exercise. It really helped me think about what I want to be and where I want to be personally.
Right.
And if I know that might feel overwhelming for some of our listeners here, and we are happy to help. If you reach out to us at leadershipsquad1@gmail.com, we will share a simple resource to help you create your personal mission statement and help you guide further.
Yeah. No, that's really powerful. And I love the fact that how you're able to look at the different angles of your life, and trying to cover that in one mission statement. I think it says that it says the effort that you've taken to get there. And I think, like, once you have that, it's very powerful to push you along when it comes
Mhm.
to challenging situations in life. Like, it helps you prioritize differently. So yeah, no, that's it's thanks for sharing that. I think it's very powerful. And as we wrap up, guys, so what I want to make sure that we all know before we drop is that it's not vision is not going to give you everything. It's not about having every answer there is. It's about having a why that you feel comfortable with solving. And it's something that you want to keep doing again and again. Be flexible enough to accept the fact that that why might get modified as the time passes by. And so it is little open-minded space. And that's what, a leader's maturity kicks in, right? Like, you have to accept the fact that things have changed. The focus could be changed. I can modify, but then the overall focus will always be the same. And
Mhm. Mhm.
it's kind of like a litmus test. Like, if you want to test your vision, if it takes time, just for a fun, don't take it, anybody shouldn't take it personally, because you always have to keep on modifying it. I've done it multiple times. So if your vision sticks for like 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, it shows the depth of that value that you added into that vision as well.
Mm.
The longer it stays, obviously, it says that you've thought
The more
deeply.
powerful it is.
Yeah, exactly. So that's something I want to leave with. And yeah, vision, it's a very fun process. Do not, I know we talked about a lot of, like I said in the earlier conversation, like, it is a deep stuff, but at the same point of time, it's much more fun. It's very powerful in driving your life in the right direction. And it almost always helps to get into the right direction, definitely in the corporate background, but also in personal experiences.
Well said there, Mandar. Thank you for spending the time with us today. If this episode resonated with you, share it with your loved ones and someone in your leadership journey, and let us know how you're applying it in your own personal life. Until next time, keep leading with purpose and please follow the Leadership Squad wherever you are listening to this. Thank you very much.
Bye. Thank you.